There we go. Hello. Hello, good day. Let's see. Jartza, hello, welcome on in. Minish, GG on first. Deadly, hello. I hope you're all doing well today. I'm probably not gonna be streaming too long, just about maybe 2 hours. Probably like closer to like an hour and a half or something. But I just wanted to do some Noit. For those for those not on my Discord, I had a stressful couple of days. I've been attempted identity thefted, which is just so rude. Such a rude thing to do. So it's been very annoying to deal with. And I can't do a whole lot about it because it was a Friday. And I didn't find out until Friday evening. So, anyway, yeah, we're gonna just do some cozy Noita to unwind. But yeah, there's also other Noita. That's part of why I'm a little late. I was gonna start streaming like 45 minutes ago. But both Battery and Eddie are streaming their blind playthroughs of Noita right now. And both of them, it's been very interesting. It's been some interesting stuff going on. Eddie has recently accepted making some backups while trying to do some bigger exploring. Which has been good because this current run they're doing is going really well, and they haven't needed to use a backup, but I think having backups is giving them some good confidence, which is pretty good. Battery, I don't know what all he's doing, but he's found some stuff today. He found the notes for the first time. I think he found something else, but I don't remember what. But yeah, so I do have on my other monitor. I have both of their streams playing. We're just gonna be peeking in. Some good stuff. Also, I did decide to add another mod. I went to go find a mod for someone else. Battery was interested in installing the Only Ones mod. So I went to go link it to him yesterday, and in looking for it, I found this. You see what's happening here? If you don't recognize what's happening here, this is more advanced particle systems than what normally happen. Apparently, Noita has like two different particle systems. One particle system that's responsible for like physical particles, and a separate particle system that's responsible for visual particles. And there is a mod that improves the visual particles particle system. So I decided to go ahead and add that because why is green Mina? That is because a long time ago, well, like a month or two ago, whenever I started playing Noita again, I decided I was okay with some very basic like cosmetic mods, which is why we have this particle mod. One of the ones we have is one that added like 250 random robe colors. So every time we start a run, we get a different robe color. So yeah, it's not like we unlocked something. This is just a mod that makes us start with random robe colors. And I was like, that's kind of a fun little thing. Also, hello, Knots. Hi. I hope you're doing well today. I hope no one is getting identity thefted. Ugh. Why am I going left? I need to go right. We need to go get stuff from the right. Minish, how have you been doing today? I know I saw that you said you fixed a bunch of stuff in EG. Does that mean we're closer to trial Archie? Um, because I've already said I will absolutely join. I don't know where I need to go to get EG. I don't know if you have a link to where you can get EG. Is EG on Steam? Don't know, but I will go get EG. I will go get a copy of EG. Well, I can't get a copy of EG until Tuesday. Actually, I don't I don't have access to like my bank account until Tuesday. Unfortunately, uh, that is one of the things I can't do. I can't access my bank account because I'm until some stuff gets fixed. There's some forms that have been submitted, but I can't access any of my bank stuff until Tuesday. You don't need to get a cop. Whoa, that's so cool. Wait a second. Did you get like permission for that, or do they have like an open like thing that says that? I know that the Archie server is really strict about distributing things. Like, I did read that the dev is very cool about a lot of things, but like, that's super cool. If they're just like you can just. Oh, that's so nice. That's so cool. Hmm. Eddie is considering doing a stream together.
I
We could do stream together. We could do a chat.
Noita.
Okay. Where I go for call?
Boston is where I'm at. Oh, hi.
Hello. Hello. Sorry. Um.
You're good.
Yeah. For some reason, the preview on Discord was not actually showing me that you were in this channel. It was only showing me the other channels.
Oh, that's weird.
So, like, I was hovering over to the Discord servers, and I was like, it'll show me wherever Eddie is. And you weren't anywhere. And I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense.
No. That is. I got it. I've only been here for a few moments, so it's possible that it was just taking its time.
No, it's still. I did.
Okay.
I did double check. I think it's because there's so many people in the other channel that
Yeah.
like it's like doing a hierarchy. It's showing just people from that channel. It doesn't show the other channels right now.
Right. Um, I am struggling to find a W, and it makes me sad.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna find an X. Actually, no. No, yeah, no, I don't have an X.
I can't remember, off the top of my head, I can't remember if there's any letters I don't have or not.
Right. I'm honestly surprised I have as many of them as I do. For like capital letters, because the capital letters are the hard ones, right?
Yeah.
Since there's so many fewer instances that they will appear, like beginning of sentences, proper nouns, or titles of the books.
What you're saying is we just need, like, a document of just someone screaming. Just mad ramblings of all caps.
Yes. We need, yeah, exactly. We need someone who has intentionally left caps lock on for one reason or another.
That would be very good as a, like, I don't want to talk about things I've seen in games to, like, hide ways to, like, get translatable things, but that would be a great way. Like, I could see that existing, like you.
Totally. Like, they get to the end and they realize, oh shit, there's nowhere that you can find a capital J in a translated text, but, like, you need it in, like, some other thing, and they're just like, okay, we'll make this one thing actually caps lock.
There's one game, again, won't say names of games, but there is one game that hid something in a way, like, very important, like, stuff you need for translations, and it hid it in a way because, like, by the time you find it, you don't realize, like, you need it, and then way later, you need it, but it never seemed important kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
It was very good. I was so mad when it, like, finally hit me. Also,
it was great. I was so angry.
Eddie, if you haven't figured this out yet, I think there's something wrong, because I feel like, love games that I get super mad at.
That does make sense. I was very pleased when you were, like, playing Lorelei the other day, and I don't even remember what it was, but you just, like, you realize that you're like, oh, I hate this game.
God, Lorelei has me so on edge about everything, especially now, because now it's spooky. But, like, God, there's so much. It's so exhausting, because at this point, I feel like I go anywhere and I'm just like, okay, we gotta find patterns. We gotta pattern recognize everywhere.
Oh yeah. The meaning, like, it is very good at, like, just ratcheting up the meaning thread. It's like, go into pattern recognition mode. Like, everything has to mean something. It's very, very good.
Also, Kerr and Deadly, thank you for redeeming some cat treats. We'll go ahead and get some cat treats out.
Okay, I think I have officially, should I leave? Okay. Did I leave Napier open? I did. Yeah, I think, I have all the capital letters that I actually have access to. Which is like, we're missing W, X, Y, Z, because of course we are. I'm kind of surprised I don't have a Y. I feel like one sentence would have started with U, right? Like, I feel like there totally would have been a second person sentence that I had seen at this point, but evidently there isn't. Oh, I have a W. I do have a W. We.
Hidden W.
Huge W for the Emerald Tablet of Thought.
Kerr, that's a very good clip. Excellent. I've never watched, like, that much Dark Souls, because, like, I don't know. For some reason, Dark Souls has never super interested. Like, I like games that have a lot of things going on with Dark Souls, but Dark Souls itself has never seemed interesting to me. I don't know. Torny asks is the high fantasy setting because I also similarly never really had an interest in like Skyrim or Morrowind or any of the Elder Scrolls stuff.
Yeah.
But like,
I'm definitely like at this point in my life, I'm very over high fantasy.
I do think
Generally
maybe that's
speaking.
part of it. Is that like I like high fantasy in theory, but maybe because like there's so
Right.
much
Yeah.
fiction that like is like high fantasy almost feels like it's overdone to me. Like
Oh, I 100% agree.
I don't know. I like a
It's
lot of
like
urban fantasy stuff. Like urban high fantasy mixed things,
yes,
but
yes.
You can't
Agreed.
have urban high fantasy.
I can too.
No, it's urban fantasy.
I
and
want
high fantasy.
Listen, I want people to be high in the urban fantasy.
Well, that's
Yeah.
a different thing.
Well, I'm calling it urban high fantasy.
urban fantasy with a high.
Yeah. Shortened as urban
Featuring-
high fantasy just to piss off Jordan. Who's gonna come over here and slap me?
My guild takes logs from the raise, and I goes to logs from the raid yesterday, and I'm in 89th percentile on performance for my class and roll. And your two best fights was 97th percentile. Let's go. What a gamer. Fantasy with herbs. Urban fantasy.
Okay, so there's a restaurant near, like, kind of near where I live that's called Urban Onion, and like the original name of the restaurant was the Herb and Onion, and then like they changed to Urban Onion.
It's very good.
I could see
I'll
urban
never be
fantasy.
over high fantasy. So I would love to hear. I'd love to hear why. Like, what is it that keeps you coming back to high fantasy? I'm over gothic fantasy and not over high fantasy. I'd also love to hear the distinction that you would make, Elish. Because, like,
Bloodborne.
I definitely don't have very good delineations between the kinds of fantasies. Like, urban fantasy is like, I know, like, that makes intuitive sense to me.
Urban fantasy is usually soft fantasy, right? Or soft? Am I mixing? Is it high? I know there's a.
high and low.
Okay.
yeah.
I know that there's like two very specific terms, and Torny says that urban or that gothic fantasy is like Bloodborne style.
Like Victorian. Would be like an adjacent word. Urban fan AC. Mangling meaning by all recognition. As you guys are, I'll see you all back here in about 3 minutes. I hope you're having an excellent time. I really appreciate you hanging out. We will continue this conversation once the ads are over. Potentially during ads, but we shall see. Feel free to hop over to Dwarf Space. Dwarf is not running ads right now.
See, you're all interested, like, there's gameplay over here. Meanwhile, I'm like, yes, translate things. This is great.
Does this imply the existence of urban low fantasy? That's a good question. Dwarf, since you're the one insisting on urban high fantasy. Oh yeah, pretty exciting.
It's just different urban low.
At first I think high and low are super applicable to any subgenre of fantasy. I agree, but I would swap fantasy for like generally like specific genres within like fiction. Like I tend to interpret, and this is probably incorrect, but like I tend to interpret high and low as like generally how what's the word? like how this is not the right word, but like forgiving, if that makes sense, that like the setting is to like the narrative. Like low fantasy is like generally just a very unforgiving setting, whereas high fantasy feels like a much more forgiving setting. Like there's many more outs that are facilitated by like the fantasy, right? Um, um,
See.
Okay, so Torny was looking up some definitions. And the definition of low fantasy is fantasy that
It is a subgenre of fantasy fiction in which magical events intrude on an otherwise normal world. The term thus contrasts with high fantasy stories, which take place in fictional worlds that have their own sets of rules and physical laws.
Can you read the first part back for me again? The low fantasy component?
Low fantasy, or intrusion fantasy, this is defined by Wikipedia, by the way, is a subgenre of fantasy fiction in which magical events intrude on an otherwise normal world.
Oh.
oh god, there's so many commies.
Okay, so that does kind of like that's definitely mechanistically not the like that's more specific than what I was getting at, but it does vibe with like the kind of general notion that I was thinking of, and in the sense that like physical reality is like a lot less forgiving than like a magical world that is like kind of built from the ground up, right? Typically.
Could say there. I'm looking at the high fantasy examples, and there is one on here I can see that might be urban high fantasy, and it's Discworld.
I've heard very good things about this world.
My god, Discworld is fantastic.
Literally.
Yeah.
I've had it very, very high recommended to me on multiple occasions. Hello, welcome back to Matt's, everyone. Alright, I'm gonna catch up on what messages were sent leading up to ads for anyone who was caught in them. Gothic fantasy is kind of like where fantasy and horror mix, characterized by a lot of focus on scary landscapes and dark, grungy appearances, etc. Okay, that makes good sense to me. Similar to like the Gothic coming from like Gothic horror, for instance. Urban high fantasy is just urban fantasy where everyone's aware of the fantastic elements and they're super common. Right, I think that vibes with like the reading, the definition that Tori was reading, right? Where it's like it is a magical world, and so it's like it's not like a secret thing. Things like Dark Souls fall into what I would consider Gothic fantasy. That totally, yeah. All the landscapes are bleak, the structures are rickety and rotting, etc. Right. Low fantasy can be. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just looking at Queen's comment. I think Harry Potter is in an interesting spot because functionally they go in a different world. There's functionally two worlds in Harry Potter.
Yeah. I don't even think like canonically, no. Like actually literally just like there is just two.
Well, so the whole thing with Harry Potter is it's a singular world. It's just they essentially hid the like magic world. The whole magic world is just hidden from the non-magic world, which
To a degree where it may as well be
it's the thing is like it's such a they're like, well, for reasons we've just hidden this to the point that it cannot be found. So again, functionally it's two worlds, even if it's not considered literally two worlds. Like it might as well be two worlds.
Low fantasy can be gritty and brutal, but really just means magic isn't very common, but does exist, right? Yeah, I think it was like, and I think Elish says this in a minute. Definition of high versus low fantasy and CM or something, whether it takes in a fantasy world or the real world. Right, that's, yeah, what Tori was saying. What if the unknowable numerous places just high fantasy is a completely separate world, but low fantasy is our world but with X, right? Like some inserted magic system, or intruding magic system. I think that's a very good term for that. Urban low fantasy would then be urban fantasy where a vampire suddenly appears unexpectedly where no other narrative elements would have indicated it was going to happen. Like, vampires are not like a typical feature of that world, right? Harry Potter is probably the most famous example of low fantasy, for example, right, and I think, yeah, like we were discussing, it's like, it's kind of like, it is but it isn't, right, in the sense that it is basically, kind of has it in parallel. This world is only urban in the like super literal sense in some books, but otherwise just seems to be an amalgam of fantasy genres. That does kind of track with what I've heard about it. Lord of the Rings is high fantasy? Totally, yes. Yeah. Pretty. I may even go so far as to say like a poster child for high fantasy. When you call it low fantasy, what would you call it? Just standard fantasy. The entire story takes place in the magic part of the story of the world. This world is that. No, wait, no. Halo is something else. With like 28,000 points, recommending Eddie. Sorry, Manoj, you can't actually just give channel points. You have to, like, be in stream and watch and stuff. But you're here, like, all the time, so I'm sure you have plenty of points. So the magic still does exist in the real world, from my understanding? Yeah, right. They can actually still do the magic in like, the real world is like the same world ultimately, right? It's that like the magic users have decided to say like we're just going to kind of seclude ourselves within this place that we're able to totally like, envelop in a you can't see me shroud. This world is a comedic fantasy series. Yeah. For taking place in Harry Potter universe that follow non-wizards would potentially be low fantasy. Forgetting times in the natural world actually does lead over to the mundane world, right? Which would be like kind of low fantasy. Increasingly as the series progresses. Yeah, I think that's a big part of the narrative. But I do have to be honest, I don't really like keep a lot of space in my memory for remembering the details associated with Harry Potter's narrative elements. Harry Potter's low fantasy like first two chapters, and it's just fantasy, right? We're talking about the fantasy level. Hey Steve, welcome back in. Tragically we're not. But if you know about a fantasy, you should let me know because I would like to visit. Also, what flavor is it? Or is it like that's where they get all of the flavors?
I think to be the C, it is just like, well, maybe, hold on, maybe different flavors exist at different, like, depths.
Oh, they're like different densities. Yeah. I'm in. What's the difference between low fantasy and magical realism? I think the idea there, not being able to see the definition for magical realism, my suspicion would be that magical realism is like, um, a system of magic meant to emulate reality, but not necessarily having to do with the actual world as we know it, right? Like, you could imagine a totally fictional setting, but that is, like, following what we understand as physical laws, like the physical laws with magic, like, strapped on to the side in a, like, meant to be self-consistent kind of way. Not Harry Potter experts, so I'll defer to the experts. Yeah, no, I'm also very much not an expert. The genre of story is separate from the facts of the world that story takes place in. Yeah, no, that's very true. That's very true. We're taking the Nerephant to Trench. Let's go. I'm in. Where is it? Show me. But yeah, if you're wondering your question of why I'm sick of Gotham Core versus still liking high fantasy, yeah. Because I enjoy pretty things. Fantasy worlds enable so much unrealistic and unbelievable beauty. I don't have anything against that or being scary elements, but I really find it boring and unenjoyable when the entire world is just dreary everywhere you look. I definitely don't disagree with that. For me, I would say that, like, I'm tired of I am tired of that, for sure. I'm also tired of things looking like unrealistically great. Like I'm not a fan of really either of them. I much prefer a like kind of nuanced, you know, approach to the world design, right? Where it's like because like if we look around the physical world, right, like I think that there is I think it's not unreasonable to say that like there are, you know, wildly beautiful things in our world as well as like deeply, deeply, you know, awful and dreary and broken down things, right? Um Also I'm still catching up, so I apologize if you said something to that effect. But he says that fantasy and magic realism are commonly held to be unrelated apart from some shared inspirations in mythology and folklore. Interesting. So what's the definition for magical realism then? So you're saying in the fantasy, that's not a word that I know how to pronounce. Butterfly? It's not temperature, but flavor? Oh, okay. And contextually, I think I know what this word means at least. Yes. I think that is, I think that's pitch. Taking the narrative fantasy trench, absolutely. More of a sci-fi kind of, yeah, like scientific fictional stories. I like Roborn's snack shit. Sick. And I've talked about this on stream before. My disposition towards it is that like I think that in general, my experience suggests that uh, sci-fi has the ability to have many more divergent elements than does fantasy. Not because of like an actual like ability, rather than like people's creativity for those genres are such that like it feels like the tropes in fantasy are much more played out at this point and much harder to escape than are the tropes of sci-fi. Not to say that lots of sci-fi doesn't still fall into them. They totally do. But I feel like there's more diversity. But that also could absolutely just be sampling bias. Because I've kind of felt this way about fantasy for like a long time. So like, you know. What about you, Dwarf? How do you feel about fantasy versus sci-fi?
About me?
Yes, you.
I do definitely think. I mean, I think yeah that I think that like really sci-fi and fantasy probably should be the same thing, like under one umbrella. Like
I mean, they
Sure.
often are
Yeah, like-
grouped together, like.
I think the whole reason that sci-fi seems like it has like more space is because essentially we've just decided that like we as people have just decided that okay, fantasy is this one very niche thing, and then
Yeah.
sci-fi
Yeah.
is just like a ton of stuff Like, it's just way more open of a term for what it's defining.
Right, right. Well, and for me, the kind of like intuitive difference that I always thought of is that like sci-fi has to at least pretend to justify itself, and fantasy basically has no such requirement.
That actually, so that's a whole thing too. There's hard and soft magic systems are like
Yeah.
some terms, and there are people who have really big thoughts on that. That's a whole thing when people are designing fantasy settings.
Have you ever read hard sci-fi?
Hard and soft science fiction are it's a
Yeah.
whole
Well, I
thing.
think it's the same
yeah.
thing. Like, it's the same thing with the magic systems. But like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's where you have like Star Wars. I think is way more like soft in general, because it's just like, okay,
Totally.
it just exists. Whereas you have Star Trek, where they try and explain everything somehow.
Oh, I would. My understanding of hard sci-fi is that like it's much more like it actually verges on. So the hard sci-fi that I'm familiar with is like uh stuff by like Greg Egan, where he literally will do self-consistent math, and like he'll do a whole physical theory. And then if there's an interaction that occurs in the book, it has to, according to like that, like mathematical model, be something that could happen.
Queen, I think that gets into kind of what I was saying though, is that like usually people don't refer to space fantasy as a thing. That like just it gets lumped as sci-fi, which is why sci-fi feels like it's inherently more open. Like I don't know. I feel like I've never seen somebody like generally refer to something as like space fantasy. Like
Right.
even if I agree that that would be more correct. But as far as like I don't know, I don't know if hard and soft sci-fi are on a scale. I've always thought that hard sci-fi is just anything that essentially attempts to make it sound like there's like a reasonable explanation
From what
and semi based on like real stuff, even if it's not fully. But yes,
yeah, from what I am aware of, the harder the science fiction, the more grounded it is in actual science and reality.
Yeah.
The more plausible it is.
Yeah.
But like it's still like a scale, like
Yeah.
something isn't like what you were describing with this other person's writing. Like that would be very hard, but it's not like that's not like the definition kind of thing.
Sure, right. And I guess like more my conception of it was like it's not necessarily that, because like that stuff is not actually like it doesn't have the stipulation as described to adhere to actual like physics, right? It's just that the way that you come up with the fiction is by doing something that's actually kind of like similar to actual science, right?
Yeah.
But just it's fictional, like it's not actually like you didn't. There were no experiments to actually run, right?
We actually created a wormhole for this, guys. It was wild.
Created a what?
A wormhole. You know, we've done for this book. We did.
Oh,
We
yeah.
created a real wormhole.
We crunched the numbers and we decided that the budget could sustain it. This is some examples of natural realism and stuff like Benjamin Button and Kanto, with fantastical is accepted as ordinary. Okay. Don't wear orange Fanta becomes great Fanta. True. There are only things being too one note, and it's easier to appreciate the breathtaking sights of the game world, but there are also moments that aren't. Yeah, and I think it's that, like, it's, not so much that makes it easier as it, like, it feels. Ooh, I find myself wanting to say it feels more worthwhile, but I hate that, like, kind of relativism. I hate the notion that it's like, oh, you have to have the bad to appreciate the good. because I generally don't think that that's true. But like in a piece of media that is like totally like kind of, you know, designed, if you will, it definitely feels like there's something about like, you know, almost like balancing a meal, right? It's like I don't want the whole meal to just be dessert, right? Like I don't want everything to just be sweet. Like I'd like some savory and some, you know, it's like umami, right? Some tart, some um,
We need
other
some depth and
flavors that,
complexity. We can't have one
right.
note.
Would say that I'm tired of LGR copy words about fantasy worlds in general, and that's fair, and that's fair, and that's what I was saying earlier. Is like I think it's definitely partially for me like a sampling bias thing, which is that like the most popular fantasies are the fantasies that are very very similar to the already most popular fantasies, right? Like fantasy worlds, and as a result, like I spent a lot more time in sci-fi, so I've gotten to see more of the divergent sci-fi worlds, right? Whereas I like kind of bounced off a lot of fantasy and didn't spend more time in them to, you know, to find the more divergent ones. But I do tend to enjoy when they're, you know, a divergent fantasy world. Um, like I like systems that treat uh magic like physics. That like it's totally what's happening is like totally magic, but like ultimately there have to be underlying, you know, emergent forces that are being, you know, manipulated to induce those effects, right? Um, Saturday just had more space. And the hard and soft. Right. Oh, wow, I'm still so behind on chat. Okay, I'm just gonna read it, not comment. So that I can get all the way up to date. I love LTR tremendously so, but I've seen too many cases where girls just copy LTR and it's boring. Right. The slut for art magic. If you think fantasy doesn't justify itself, you've never read Odyssey. That is true. That is true. I am not. I actually recognize that name. But that certainly does pique my interest. Um, uh, and hard sci-fi. Hard sci-fi is probably like Warhammer. Uh, I don't think that hard sci-fi can be Warhammer, if only because like the orcs have their thing going on. You know, like I think that
I think
kind of rules it
Warhammer
out.
is a perfect example of like sci-fi fantasy. Like
Yeah,
Warhammer.
I agree actually.
Warhammer. Like I've never played Warhammer because my desire to do what goes into playing Warhammer is so very
Yeah,
little. Like the investment is
same,
way
right?
too high. But I love like I eventually I want to like read the Warhammer books or something because what I know of Warhammer is just lovely. I love
Wild.
it. I love the
Yeah,
universe.
yes. Don't have the brain power for hard sci-fi and love self magic, and that's super fair. That's super fair. Um, and for what it's worth, I think that there's probably a lot of and here I go commenting again instead of just reading. I think that there's probably a lot of like soft magic systems that are a lot more interesting than the ones that I have like happened upon, right? And like just because of, you know, if that's your jam, you're just going to get to see more of them. And what I know about things that like I tend to spend a lot of time with is that like a lot of the best and most interesting and most divergent stuff is like not what's easily available, right? Readily available. So was in sci-fi and space fantasy. Oh, so far back. Oh god. Okay, technically it's space opera. Yes. Super cool. It's very fun. Hi, I'm working. Good luck. Noita. Hey, Rat. Rat, like, yeah, I'd say I think sci-fi and fantasy are the same in the end. I just prefer less realistic fantasy setups. Yeah. I have a headache for almost exactly 24 hours now. It hurts me. I'm so sorry. I hope that it improves. Definitely make sure you're hydrating. Get some food. Um, I don't know if you drink caffeine regularly, but if you have not been drinking caffeine, that can very, very expediently cause headache. Um, uh, it's like Star Wars versus Star Trek all over again. Don't really need realism when stories and subject characters behaving in consistent ways to their described personalities. I think it's less realism for me and more like I just really like analysis, right? And as a result, I want a fictional setting to give me handles to do analysis with, right? If it's just like things just happen because they do, like someone says a word and like a spell happens as a result, and like that's the end of it. There's not a ton for me to do analysis on, right? Like I can try, but like giving me some explanations for why things are able to be the way they are tends to make it more interesting because I can think about it in more depth. Um, so like those reasons don't really themselves need to be terribly realistic, right? And even like really wildly unrealistic ones tend to be very interesting to me as well. As long as like they give me the ability to kind of go deep, right? I would do just use the writer created an entire space religion. Use that as a huge part of it, and made the world so in depth that he didn't even explain half of it. Very fun read. Yeah, Dune is fun. My cheese on this is a little too sticky. Yeah, I would say that that's probably the main complaint I know a lot of people have with plant-based cheese is like it's either not sticky enough or it's a little bit too sticky. Like the stick factor is a tricky thing. I already eat bad apples to appreciate good apples. Oh god, I'm so far back still. Um, true though. Yeah, super hard magic. Warhammer is very, very soft. Yeah. You should try reading the Recluse or Spellsong War Songs by L.E. Modesett Jr. If you've never done so before. His books go hard on costs and logic and trying to make things make sense. Yeah, I would love to do that. I can let me take a note of that. Or if you have links that you would be willing to DM me, I would also totally accept those. Um, uh, but for now, I can just like take a screenshot of that.
See, this is why I had to ask Eddie the same thing like 10 times because Eddie told me, but I was not staying far back in chat. I just kept missing huge chunks of chat. So I forgot what it was, but I remember I asked Eddie like 3 days in a row for the same thing, and Eddie answered every time. I just never saw the answers because I did not faithfully catch up on chat. I was like, damn, that chat's gone. Whatever was there, it's gone now. Goodbye, chat.
Man, that's a shame. Ads are sex positive reaction 2-3. Are ads sex positive, Benaj? Or are they sex exploitative? Wake up, Benaj. It has the word. Yeah. There's this amazing YouTube video called Earth is Terrible World Building by Curious Archive that's really funny and talks about the science and magic system. That sounds fun. I would say Honkai Star Rail is a sci-fi fantasy as well. Based on what very little I know about Honkai Star Rail, that definitely sounds like I would believe that implicitly based on what I've seen. Even when I pick up my magic system at the supermarket, it's so long. Also, it's a kind of take. I find soft fantasy and sci-fi makes for way better video games than hard fantasy / sci-fi, but I think in books it's pretty even. So that's an interesting take because I would argue that like Noita, which the game that me and Dwarf are both playing right now, has like as frustratingly poorly explained as it is most of the time, a very hard magic system. Because it's like it's calculated. Like things just do things for reasons, but like the way that you actually have to interact with them is extremely systematic, right? there's a lot to get into about
Yeah, that's
like,
definitely
the mechanics.
my understanding of the definitions for magic systems is definitely that hard magic systems are just ones where they have reliable rules, and they're probably, even if like the media that it's taking place in doesn't tell you all the rules, you won't actually find contradictions because they made rules. They probably created rules that they then followed,
Right.
or they just, once something happened, they were like, all right, I've got to make sure that, you know, that's a rule, I need to follow it, like I've defined that.
Right.
Whereas
Yeah.
you get soft magic systems where they just, whatever they feel like having happen at any time just happens. And why does it happen? I don't know. Will it happen that way next time? Probably not. Who knows?
Don't worry about it.
That.
Does this character need to actually, you know, hold on to this thing at any given time, or is it like something that will just magically find its way back to them? But also, like when it's plot relevant that they dropped it, like it doesn't magically find its way back to them. Like, yeah. And since you want to be like in the chat and learn lessons, it's not that I neglected the chat. It's that like I spent a couple seconds actually talking to Dwarf and realized that there were still 4 or 5 other people that were a part of the conversation that I simply could not hear. Uh, this is now the chat stream. It's true. It's true. You'll be washing hands and taking this. Excellent. Only 30 minutes late instead of 7 hours this time. That is a substantial improvement. Agree that hard fantasy / sci-fi is very finicky. Is either super immersing or impossible to immerse yourself in? When TTS redeems? That's a reasonable question. How dare you? I don't have an answer for you. I'm sorry, please forgive. So that's interesting that you say that. So, for games or for like other pieces of media, like more passive media, like a movie or a book or something, Steam. Because like for games, I could see that argument in the sense that like for some people, Noita is like super enthralling right from the beginning, and for other people, they bounce all the way off of it because of like how involved the system can be to, you know, the end of stomaching. Mostly for me, video games, but when I watch Christopher Nolan, it's kind of a hit or miss for me as well. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. I haven't watched a Nolan film in a while. Oh, and books as well. Oh, okay. Where? Dwarf, I've noticed something interesting.
What's up?
About the way that they have made this alphabet. Because it's not like a different language, right? It's just an alphabet.
Yeah.
Is that because of the system that they employ to, like, to do the translating? If a character, like, I'm amazed they didn't do a monospace font for their English alphabet. Because it would have given them so much more freedom to have weird characters. Because, like, I is a single pixel wide. And so the translated version of I is basically just I but upside down. Because there's not a lot else that it can be. Right? Like, it could have more, like, dots or whatever, but, like, ultimately they have to take up the same maximum like footprint. width-wise, at least, I guess. Height, they can, have, they can be as tall as the tallest character, right? But more just an observation, not like anything consequential.
A comically
I
large
don't
alarm clock.
watch Inception for the first time recently, ways out where my head came from? Potentially. By the way, my favorite interpretation of Inception is that it is actually just an analogy for making a movie. Where like all of the different people that they have on as like their roles and everything is uh like each of the like relevant people on like a movie directing set. Like there's a director and there's a producer and there's like a like a lead designer, etc. And it makes the movie like way easier to like understand in that framing, I feel like. Also less interesting, arguably, but so it's actually surprising and perfect in that every system I have in place to remind me to take my meds failed, and I just happened to notice it was bedtime. Yeah, yeah. You need a comically large alarm clock.
Queen, if you just adjust your med time to be my med time, then Deadly will show up and med check you. Because Deadly will show up and med check me. So it's, it works out. It's just that easy.
It's as shrimple as that.
It's as shrimple as that, it's true. Yeah, I mean, you're only off by, 20 minutes? So, it's fine. You're off by 1 hour. Okay, well, you know what? You're only off by 20 minutes right now if you switch times. Yeah. Oh, that's fascinating. Near the end, it made you feel claustrophobic.
Oh wow. Oh yeah. No, I mean that makes sense. I get that, like where that feeling would come from for sure. Wait, do I have a lowercase? Surely I have a lowercase j, right? I don't know. Surely Just is in here somewhere.
Just as above, so is Jimmy John's.
See, and that's the thing is, that's the exact one I went to, and instead of just, it's that which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below. There's no just.
I love when the game just changes things in your computer on you. It's classic. Just games gaslighting the players is top tier.
Can you imagine if there were just slight word changes on every tablet, like between the scenes? Like there's like 3 or 4 different versions. Or actually no, it's just like
they just put variables. Like instead of loading the word, you'd have a variable. Right. Yeah.
So then you could have like dozens or even hundreds or however many words you're willing to have synonyms for, right?
And then have it based on something about the player's system, so that each player. Well, that would be more annoying, but I do get annoyed when games have stuff based on the player.
I agree. I agree.
Quoted by Eddie with mushroom. Oh my god.
Wait, what? Hold on. What? Oh, I see.
It's like now.
As above, so below is how I've always heard it. Yeah, right. But I think like there's Like, fuck, and now I can't think of how it's phrased with the just in it. Like,
Well, I think it just
just
sounds.
as below, so, or just as above, so is below, or so below is, something like that. Like, it's just you add a just in front of that.
Yeah, it's one of those like easy to misremember because that sounds like it's a thing that would be said.
Yeah, right,
like,
right. Totally. Funky name for the first game too. Water's more prodigal, but it's a real bad do. And making that would have tried Windblown. It's Zelda Game Out. Defeat this on December 20th, 2024. Quoted by Eminem with Mushroom. Well, if you say so. How do I not have a fucking lowercase j? I don't have one.
you should probably get that checked out. I think everyone's supposed to just have a lowercase j.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I don't know how I've gone this long in life not knowing I don't have a lowercase j.
Having a lowercase j, that's not good.
It's not good. It's one of those things, though, where it's like you just get used to it, and like you just expect everyone else is living that way, right?
Like, surely nobody has a lowercase j. Well, you have lowercase j.
Right.
That's wild. You must be the rarity.
Yeah, right. It's like it's definitely the outlier to have lowercase j. And capital J is just right out. No, no one's even ever heard of capital J, frankly. AJKL. This is taking so much longer than it has any need to, because conversations have been, like, interesting, which frankly how they are. I know.
Everyone needs to stop having thoughts, okay? Would really make life easier.
I was about to say become unthinkable, which is not at all the correct sentiment. Just gotta recommend a YouTube video called The Two Types of Sci-Fi World Building. Steam. You can't share this information with me. It's very unsettling. I've been unsettled.
What are the odds that this kills me when I fire it? No! Nice. Excellent. I love not dying when I fire a wand. That's, like, usually one of my favorite things.
See, the ones that you think are definitely, like, risky, but you won't immediately die, are the ones that, in my experience, will absolutely kill you slower than one that will instantly do it, but, like, will absolutely still do it.
It's great. So, I've been very spoiled with how many people just decided to start Noita the last, like, couple months. And it's great every single time you see someone, like, for example, just find, like, their first, like, Gigadisc. I'm like, oh, this seems great. And you're like, yes.
Gigadisc? Like,
just...
It does seem great, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does.
And then just similar things, like someone finds a wand and they look at it and you see it and you're just like, oh yeah, that's gonna kill you. Please fire that for the
Yeah,
love of
right.
God.
Yeah, right.
I'm all I
Like,
want in the world
like,
right now is
oh.
for you to see what happens when you
Oh.
press the button.
Like, oh yeah, that's a suicide one. Like, that's what that is.
I can't remember if it's happened for you yet, but like, so like, you know how the enemies will grab wands, like
Yes,
it is very satisfying when they grab a wand. They'll just like kill you on use, and they're just like aha, and they just just
yes. It's very, like, most frequently when it happens, it's not like on screen for me. Like, I will find a one just sitting there and like a big crater.
it's so good.
Like once I was in, I think like it was this stream. I was in PC base and like I just heard a big like boom from far away, and like several rooms down, I saw frozen vapor start like filtering up through the hallways, and I was like, "What the hell happened down there?" And by the time I got down there, I saw one that was just hovering there next to a corpse, of course. That had like multicast 4 followed by like 4 propane tanks. That's interesting. It didn't actually credit who added Noita D or Noita D. But
Interestingly too, with the shared
I
chat,
assume that was you.
it didn't show me the message in chat like it normally does.
Oh, that might be used for sharing chats.
Yeah, that's sort of just like I thought that was interesting. I was looking to see if it popped up, but it didn't pop up.
No one can stop me from having thoughts. Anyways.
You see it in my chat. That's wild. I didn't even add it to my own chat. It was already in my chat.
I see it in both. I see it in both.
That's so what?
Something must have happened here. Exactly, Steve. Yeah. NNOP. Here we go. P. Or as lowercase p. What's great is that, like, I'm not even gonna make a program on stream. I guess I could throw together a shitty Python program. No. I don't want to. I don't want to make a GUI program.
Fuck
I'll just.
programming.
Yeah, programming. Like, I don't know anyone who willingly programs.
No.
You know what I mean?
That sounds like something for nerds.
True. I wouldn't know anyone like that. Could it be me? Surely could it be me?
No.
There's no nerds here. We certainly aren't the streams
Wait.
that, you know.
We can't be nerds? Oh no.
Oh, no.
Wait, was nerd supposed to be an insult? Hold on, wait a moment.
Nerd.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. I'm not going right now. Nerds aren't even real, and nobody here has ever met one. It's true. It's true. Dorks, on the other hand. Lol, even if I won't tell you to the message with giving us a new. Garage.
Every time Vinaj mentions a nib, I smile. I'm like,
A nib is dead, long live Garage. I know many a geek, but no nerds. Yeah, geeks and dorks. But nerds? You mean those like small little like candy pellet things that are basically just sugar with food coloring?
that claim to have flavors, but I feel like the flavors are just the amount of color.
Yeah. I never put few enough in my mouth at once to be able to distinguish if any individual one of them had a flavor. That wasn't just the amalgam of all of them together. What letter am I looking for? MNOPQ. Oh, fucking Q. God damn it. Alright, Q, show yourself. Lowercase q. Come out with your hands up. It's not literal.
That's true, but no longer red, whatever one just got banned. Although the red color that just got banned, like notably, is like you guys can keep using it for a year. It's very harmful to people, but you know, you can
We recognize
we don't want to hurt
hard
business.
To update. Yeah, it's like, you know.
Like, God,
It's hard to update your you know, manufacturing processes. It's like continue to like feed to children for the next year or so, but after a year.
I think the thing that gets me the most about it is just that it's like, I would understand at least if it was like, okay, whatever's on the shelf can stay for a year. Like,
right.
The fact that it's you can keep manufacturing with it for a year.
Right.
No, Red 40 isn't the banned one. Red, it's like two. I don't remember which number it is. It's not Red 40. I thought it was Red 40 originally, but it is a different red.
Damn. Fucking Emerald Tablet Volume 5 would have been the perfect tablet to have a word like "wah" or something on it. So I had a lowercase q, but there is no lowercase q on it.
What an asshole.
Right? Okay, Monty Python. Not being quotable in the correct way. No, I don't think I have I don't think I have a Q. I don't have lowercase q. I'm deficient in vitamin J and vitamin Q. Actively consumed raw. I just have this like imagery of like, it's like, you know, the like meme of like someone like shooting a ketchup bottle into their mouth, and I'm just imagining that instead of ketchup, it's just food coloring. Like, what would be the goal of this procedure? Yeah. I spent nearly 2 hours doing this. Yeah, we're coming up on 2 hours spent doing this. We're 40 done.
You know, I wasn't sure what all you'd choose to end up doing. I was just like, you know, since you're closing the game anyway.
Mm-hmm. And it was great is that I opened it back up before, like, it's just been sitting open this whole time. Like, that wasn't even that ended up being a real component of the equation. I just hadn't hit continue yet. Got some vitamin Q right here. Ayo. I think. T. Why do some letters have to be less common? Does anyone have a Any linguists that can explain that to me? Why are our vocabularies not designed in a way where every letter appears the exact same number of times, so that on average, the statistical distribution for the number of letters appearing in any given body of text would be uniform?
That would be ideal. Yeah.
Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? It'd make translating just so much better.
And there'd be zero inconvenience in communication.
Yeah, no, of course not. Figuring out words from only part of them would be definitely not a nightmare. Me when I break out the forbidden and if you use this ebook, if you had it, say yes, AL is appropriate. Okay, let me see what this is. Indeed. Indeed. Understood. Wait, this was T? Did I already... Yes, I did. Okay, so let's score it as D. It's fine. This is totally fine. You... Wait. There.
Oh, wrong one. Oh. You ever accidentally fire a gigadisc?
Yes. I remember before I understood one mechanics as well as I do now that I built something where I was like, this will be a safe way to use gigadiscs, and forgot and didn't thoroughly test it enough and forgot that it was a shuffle wand. So the one shot I did went in the order that I was expecting, and then going out and using it in the field did not, and so I just shot it in this, not prepared for it to, behave.
I'm pretty sure I remember
it does.
Testing with a shuffle wand has got to be the thing that I see happen the most to be what acts I was like, okay, I'm starting to get it, and then it's like we just test this real quick, and it's a shuffle wand, and it's just instant death every time.
Instant death or drawing completely incorrect conclusions. I feel like that was the biggest thing from the shuffle ones was I just drew just totally wrong conclusions half the time. Thank you for the med check, definitely. Yeah, the upsetting you should be using every day writing so much simpler. Oh, the schwa. Yeah. I love English had a shallow orthography. Yeah. I just did U, so STUE, lowercase v, however.
Deadly, you'll be happy to know that I mostly restocked my desk meds. I say mostly because I apparently didn't bring one of my meds here. 1 second.
Well, that kind of defeats the whole purpose, doesn't it?
There's 3 meds. I got 2 of them. We're 2 out of 3 is pretty good. Okay.
Well, okay, but if you have to take all 3, then you have to get up anyway.
Well, no, see, what I normally do is I just don't take the meds until, I've been taking them much later than I'm supposed to.
Oh, so you're just going to take 2 and ignore the third, existing.
I mean, that's what I've been doing, except I didn't have any of the meds, so I was just taking none of them until later.
Okay. So, objectively, this is an improvement. You are correct. It should not be, But it is.
You know, if you're using like standard rounding, then we would round 2/3 up to 100% here. So 100% of my meds.
I'm not a pharmacist like you, but my understanding is that that isn't how pharmaceuticals function.
You see, have you heard of classic "do as I say, not as I do" philosophy?
I can't say that I've heard the word philosophy appended to it, but uh, well, what I am good night, Bear. Thanks for hanging out. I hope that you have an excellent
Have a good
rest
night,
of your night
Bear.
and sleep well. This song is taunting me. The lyrics are recall out of joy. It's because it knows that I have no J's. Now to turn daring to practice, maybe actually take my notes. Wait, you haven't actually done it yet? Wait, hold on. Wait. I thought we like already gave congratulations for only being 30 minutes late instead of like 7 hours, but now you're an hour late. Dorf made a very convincing argument.
I mean, I was right. Deadly did show up for med check. Deadly's very good at reminding me to take my meds.
It's wild to me that like you just don't have that happen on a timer.
I mean, so here's unlike Queen, I don't have to take my meds at a specific time because
Yeah.
they're meds that make it so that I can actually fall asleep. So like if I don't take them, I just don't fall asleep until later. Like
Right.
there's no like specific thing. It's not like a med. It's not like a med that like I need to have on a specific.
It's
not a
there are no
hormonal
real consequences. And there's just best that I do, yeah. And there's just the comically large alarm clock we all need. There's HRT, yeah. Well, I mean, consider I'm regularly days late for my HRT, so really you're all doing great. Sometimes I'm weeks late if I'm like, particularly executively dysfunctioning. By the way, welcome back to Master. W. What is the other letter after W? WX. We do have X's. And I know we have Y's as well.
I can't believe you're just skipping second W. Like, first we had U,
no.
then we had W, now we have double W.
Would that be quadruple U?
Listen, the people that name things aren't great at naming things. That's why we have W to begin with, okay?
It's, you're not wrong.
We really need a contest. Just really like gamify this. Make a contest for people to come up with a better name for W. Just...
Okay, hear me out. Double V.
Will you? Yes. And then we need to have it so that people vote on this through a commercialized online poll. I really think this is the future of language. Like,
Yeah. I think that is probably the best way that we could possibly update language is by commercialized online polls. I think
yes,
there's
absolutely.
probably no possible downsides to that approach.
I can't think of any.
And as we all know, if you can't immediately think of any downsides, there aren't any.
Well, exactly, because if like downsides exist, I hope that I get paid to not mention them. So, like, it's really in my interest to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately thought of multiple. No, those whatever you've thought of is just not really a downside.
Here, counterpoint, Steve. You're not the you're not the one with the mic right now.
What did you do?
Why? This is worse.
Oh,
This
no.
is worse.
Oh, that's so not good. Also, Steve, that was a joke. I love you. That's toxic sludge, right?
Nope.
Oh, okay, hold on. Let me. I can't read it with how low my resolution is. Oh, I see. I see. I mean, is that worse? Is that really that bad?
So I thought it was worse because I thought it was going to finally update and start melting things, but maybe acid doesn't affect this.
I mean, it does, but like seemingly not super.
Yeah.
Super fast.
Once I like got it to actually like start loading, it mostly just seems to be evaporating, which okay, that's fine.
You're like, I'll take it.
Yeah, this is fine.
It's basically lava digging or lava mining without like.
Yeah, like.
Most of the anxiety.
Ooh.
Listening to this from any side is a really good test of imagination. Do I have a lowercase z? Place your bets now. You can vote on your phones by texting the number at the bottom of your screen.
Now, which number am I texting? Am I texting? We got a few numbers here. I see 6:10:58. The number keeps changing, so
That's really pick whichever one looks the nicest, I think.
text whichever number looks most like a number you think you should be texting.
Yeah, like if the text goes through, that's probably the right one. Resisting the temptation probably goes like here. Text this number. Wait, hold on. Yeah, there you go. That's the number to text. I'm pretty sure. I hope my memory has not failed me.
I think that's the number you wanted, yeah.
Okay, good.
I wonder who owns that number now. I know the original person that owned that number.
I have Jenny in my contacts. No, yeah, I think there came a point where that number was called so many times that like it just couldn't be anyone's number, and so it was purchased as a part of like a historical preservation thing, and like a fun little recording was put on it for people who called it. I'm not sure if it's like still like active at this point though, but I know that was like a thing that happened. That's the number for Ready Player 2. Oh god, Steam. Oh, Steam.
Really missed opportunity to really commercialize this up and charge people just automatically say you've consented to bills from us by calling this number.
You have asked before, Queen, but the answer, I will give it to you again, is Deadwood by really slow motion. I think it's a lot of us to see birds with the upper arms and not consider making of the autism, since they make from part of a good at the hey. So true, man. So true. I wish more people, would consider that. I don't think I have a Z. I don't think I have a lowercase z. I have an uppercase Z. What word would I have a lowercase z in? You know what I'm saying?
You got any books about zebras? Or
Yeah.
knowledge?
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me pull up this knowledge book.
True's knowledge is, that's what we're really seeking here.
Okay, so, I think that there's a couple of the, letters early on that I want to clean up. They were not done very well. But, wow, look at all these uniform letters I have.
It's so good.
Thanks. I'm really proud.
You know how you sometimes think that I maybe put too much effort into a lot of dumb simple things I do.
Go on.
Yeah, almost every time I translate things in a game, I end up recreating. So I cut out the images, and then I usually draw over these so that I can have like no aliasing and everything.
Jesus. Well,
Jesus would be ashamed.
What I have done skips that need because basically these are all taken from screenshots at the same resolution. And so, because the text is always the same font size in game, they'll always be the same number of pixels. And so all I'm doing is basically stripping them down to when they're a mono color. Which would basically be the same result in the end.
Well, deny yours. So the thing, at least for Noitas, for example, would be that a lot of times when you're looking at a tablet, there's background, so there's gonna be some background static,
Oh yeah, I went through and hand deleted all of that.
Oh, see that's what I was referring to. That's what I, because I also I take
That's
screenshots in Noita with the
so long.
Noita screenshot thing, so it is like the game. It's all consistent.
Yeah, that's why it is taking me as long as it is because as I cut them and paste them, I have been going through and basically doing that with them. Because I thought I would make you proud. That's all that I ever wanted. This is just 4. I don't know who they think they're fooling. This is just the number 4. That's not a capital B. That's 4. They play us for fools. Yeah, it's already added word. Not autism, autistism? Wait, was it actually? Oh, you're right, autistism. That's, prejudice against autistics? Yeah, I guess that would be. Should messenger Rinosh said it, not me. You should teach Rinosh to speak Noita? No. No, I don't think I will. Probably remain the Noita font in Font Forge. Now, see, that is something that someone else has definitely done that I would just like steal their work. And by that, I mean I might do it personally. And if I was compelled to do it, I would, in fact, seek out someone else who had already done it. I don't know. Do we want to go on a font making stream? I guess I am basically like I have a bitmap font, you know? Like all of these are the same image. I have a bitmap font for like monospace, right? Like quality control is probably kinda ass. Like the alignment is probably not great on these. But like, you know. Probably fine. Can upload my work in Noita'ese. The executive dysfunction continues to land complex because I am now 20 minutes late for my new updated bedtime. Queen, please. Queen. Somebody time Queen out. So that she has to go get her meds. Wait, no. Exactly.
Wait, no, Bob, please!
Absolutely not happening.
Oh, so much.
Likewise. This month I am going to be reformatting Benaji's memory again. Like it won't forget anything. Because we have logs. But yeah, we will have hopefully Benaj will like reply to things even faster. Because and will finish its messages more coherently. It doesn't Benaj. You're that green, that's the sound of your comically large hypothetical alarm clock telling you to fuck up. It's true. It's true. Decentralized synthetic alarm clock telling you to please go take your meds. Right, I think, yeah, F was the last one that I did without, getting rid of the background. Like I've literally gone back to Morpheus initially, I wasn't getting rid of the background, and I have now gone back and I got rid of the background on the first couple that I didn't do it for, so now they're all, like, they're on black background, which is, like, not great. It'd be better if they were on transparency, but you know, it's okay.
Well, you know, there's some uniformity, visual clarity.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Alright, and now we just drop all of these into the translation, and then we copy and paste them to stitch together words. Fuck, I don't have... It's just the file name. Not the... Oh, that's so neat! Look at all, that's so cute. They're like... all laid out in a nice order. That's with like perfect spacing between. How adorable. Oh, I don't get to know what the name is. Can I? Or what if I? Oh, 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 Maybe said well, so wait, how's firewood now? In this situation. We have firewood, so the knife won't forget a thing once we reformat its memory. Okay, in the process of standing up as it rises. That's just Lambda, that letter. Yeah, no, true. A lot of these are like just exist, like this is just the exclamation point. That's just I. Like that's just the number 4. That's an arrow. Those are both useful ones. Oh no, that one wasn't on the site. Where is it? C. Oh, apparently I didn't do a good enough job on C. Or a job at all, apparently. Alright, okay. So we're gonna actually remove all of these and then drag them in one by one. Stack away. And this is lowercase a. And B and B. I'm surprised, frankly, that they decided to make their like lowercases actually like lowercase versions of the uppercase. Like honestly, their uh adherence to like the same kind of conventions as like the Latin alphabet is very surprising to me. Because like totally not necessary, right? Like you can totally create a similarly effective um you know cipher without like adhering to any of these things. That's on C, that's S. I agree. I agree. Thank you for the cool refresh. Steam, I appreciate it. I'll do that now.
How am I doing? Hello. I'm doing alright. I'm starting to get tired. Like I should probably consider starting to get ready for bed. But also, I haven't died yet, which is just wild.
You basically started your runs going, alright, I just want to die a whole bunch.
I came here planning to die, and there's been 0 me dying. This is terrible.
This is the worst.
This is the worst. Yeah. Oh my gosh, GG ibuprofen.
Excellent.
Wait,
26 is 2 times 13. I hate it. Okay.
yes.
It could be 5 times 5 plus 1, though. That's better. What?
Wait, I don't think you're supposed to have neck swelling. I'm just gonna throw this out there as like a, you know, general general rule.
I think I will confidently agree with that assessment. Eating a prime multiple is my favorite number. Well, everything is a prime multiple of a prime number. What do you mean? Every number is a prime multiple if it's a natural number. Because that's like how you get natural numbers is that they're all prime multiples of prime like it's like that is the fundamental theorem of like the fuck what is it? Like there's a name for the hold on. That's not what I want. Give me an actual it's like prime factorization. Like there's a name for the theorem that like determines right. Is it the fundamental theorem of arithmetic? That can't be right. But I
Is
think
it
actually might
Jeff's
be.
theorem?
Ah! Okay, no, what's the theorem? Give me the theorem. Yeah, prime decomposition. I know all about it, but like what's the prime factorization theorem? Fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Okay, I was right. I was just like that. That seems too broad. Surely I misremembered, but I not. Oh yeah, I'm looking for J, and J doesn't exist because it's not real. Actually, I know no one told anyone this, but J is fake. I've determined this through empirical experiments. XCFGHIJ. Wait. Why was I putting Q there anyways? I know the alphabet, definitely. Just like I know the months. That's why you're number 13 though? Right. 2 times 13 is prime multiple of 13, 4 times 13 is a composite multiple. Wait, that is just gamma? Like, yeah, all of these are like simple. Like, almost all of these are just other symbols, I agree. Okay, so. Fair point. I was gonna do more adjudicating, but. You're just correct. B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, L.
Hello, Ender. Good morning, good evening.
Oh.
I hope
This
you're
doesn't
doing
look
well
like
so
a loading
far.
screen. I think I would accuse you of lying if, you know, not knowing better, someone were to show up. I would show up for a stream like this, and someone said, "Hey, man, this is Noita." Like, oh, wait, is lowercase m and uppercase m just the same? Wait, what? Did I pull m incorrectly? No, I think they're just actually the same. Yep, neat. Lowercase and uppercase m are the same in this alphabet. Fascinating. Eagles that katakana, but isn't. Yeah, true, true. Did I get any cues? I didn't get any cues, did I? No. Cue deficient is pretty shameful for a queer person, to be honest. Okay. And then EQ. And then EQR.
We're gonna do morning stuff. All right, Ender, have a good day.
Later. Have a good one. Let's see. I will say working with images that I created in GIMP and Logseq is a much more pleasant experience than screenshots I take, like raw, because all of these are actually the same size, so I can actually walk them onto a grid. Whereas, like, I just never am taking screenshots of the exact same size, you know what I mean? And so, like, aligning things is much more nightmarish in that context.
Yeah. Does Logsec do the thing where like you can, if you have like similar sized images, it'll like try and snap, like if you try and resize it, it'll kind of make them the same?
I think there is something for that. I admittedly don't mess a ton with a lot of the things that you can do with like selecting multiple things. Like for instance, you can hack them into a rectangle, which is kind of a cool feature. You can like do different alignments with them. I don't know if it has any resizing functionality though.
Yeah, because like with Obsidian, one of the things I do a lot is like I'll like take a screenshot, throw it in the thing, and then I'll put it next to another screenshot, and it'll try and like line the two up. Like it'll do like some snapping so that they line up like however, either by top alignment or middle or whatever. And if I do like top alignment and then I go to drag a corner, it'll do another alignment once I get them to be the same size. So it's really easy to get them to be like the same.
Yeah.
Queen, thank you for reminding me to hydrate.
I don't think so.
I've got classic key lime pie water.
Classic.
classic. All people should drink key lime pie water because it's it just sounds good when you just hear it and you're not really familiar with it. You're like, wow, key lime pie is a water. That sounds like what water should be.
I'll be honest, like, outside of the context of knowing that it's actually a designated beverage, it sounds awful. Because it sounds like water that has somehow, like, come from a key lime pie, like, as a waste product of some kind.
Yeah, no,
Like,
that is part of what I'm saying. Like,
better.
without knowing, key lime pie water does sound pretty terrible.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. Oh, I skipped P. I skipped P. How do you skip P?
Where are you going? Oh my god, come back! What?
Or at someone after pitching key lime pie water to them.
Come back. No, you go back.
Alright, look at it. Isn't it beautiful? There's only 3 holes in it. Well, technically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 holes, but like, only 3 pairs of holes. And then the other 2 holes are like, half holes.
That is pretty good.
Thank you. Alright, we finally get to translate a single fucking thing.
Well, yeah.
Okay, Eddie, you would probably appreciate this. So, I don't think you've watched any of the other person I've been watching, as far as I'm aware. That battery who's been also playing Noita.
I have not been watching Battery, no.
So one of the things that came up the other day is they recorded all of the orbs they knew about, right? And in this recording, in this little little write up, I was like, wow, They basically mentioned just like they're all ones you know about. It's just like the one at the beginning, and then the one with the bridge, and then who's the third? I don't know. Basically, we'll just say those. And I was like, that's weird because Battery had like been over, and fought the pyramid boss. Like literally, Battery had died to the pyramid boss. And I was like, Battery's been over there multiple times. He must have forgotten. He must have forgotten about the orb over there. Come to find out later, he never went up the pyramid. He found that he could go in, went in it multiple times, never went up.
Oh my god, he has a healing one.
Incredible.
And then
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. And then he finally went up and was like, "Oh my god, there's just been one here."
Incredible.
Oh my gosh. Hey Wall, thank you for the follow. I hope you're doing well today.
Oh, I see what I was gonna say.
Can I make you back up the logs? Is there okay? So Eddie, do you back up logsec with backup command?
Wait, what?
Queen wants to know if you'll make backups of your other files.
Good night, Finish.
This night Minish.
I mean, I mean, I like, I, I guess I can. Luckily, Logsec is not, you know, a piece of software that hates its users and deletes itself.
Or is it?
Could you imagine a knowledge-facing software that just like antagonistically deletes its content?
I'm like, you recorded this note wrong. Fuck you.
I actually disagree with your note taking method here. I think fuck you actually.
That should not have been a bulleted list. Try again.
So this one, it's like the worst one I could have possibly translated first because it's just spiteful. It just says your reward, like as if knowing that it says your reward is my reward for fucking going through like 2.5 to 2 and 3/4 hours of translation work. Now I can finally play the goddamn game again.
But now, you know what? Your reward is playing the game again. It's fitting.
Yay! Self-referential reward, yippee! The gods are very angry with you. Oh hey, the gods are enraged, let's go.
So angry gods.
That's awesome. I had never had gods so angry with me. I love that for me. And yet I can make peace with them. Will I though? Will I? I mean like why? Right? Like I don't need their approval. I don't have any actual god's approval. Like, why should I want fictional god's approval? Actual being rather subjective here. Did push the latest Archie update before I had to eat. Let's go. That is excellent. Well done. Well done.
Oh my
I hope
gosh,
yours well.
more EG bug fixes. That's so good. Shout outs to Minish, who literally, like, was it this morning? Or was it yesterday? Or the EG like officially like is officially in a released Archie state. A game that did not have a randomizer
That's
at all,
awesome.
to my memory.
Congratulations. And well done.
I think it didn't have a randomizer at all. I believe Minish created the randomizer and that made the whole Archie. I'm pretty sure all of it is like ground up.
Wow.
It was published on Friday. I see. That was yesterday, right? Well, I guess it depends time zone and stuff, but yeah. So like, yeah, just really cool, really cool. Like I mean, first big modding project. First like, so many firsts. First Archie thing. Like first. Like okay, I mean, Minish has made like a couple of manuals, I think, or I mean, in the EG, like Minish made an EG manual first, but like, yeah, it's been really cool.
And there are utilities for, I don't know if this is how Minish made it, but there are utilities for making manuals without like any coding or what have you. There's a website you can use and whatnot. It's on Friday. The enormous. Congratulations, fantastic work. Yeah, absolutely. So we definitely do not take teleportitis because fuck that hurt. We don't take low recoil because whatever. Peace with gods. Like my read on this is that like it just makes Steve like not attack you. Like we did just make a backup. I could, I guess, technically like take this, hurry on to the next holy mountain, and like, you know, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, Dorian is gonna be so good.
Rando. And then after that, you'll do chunk rando. If your game has enough chunks. I don't know if usually has enough chunks, but I do know how to code. Oh no, yeah, I wasn't. My implication was not. I apologize. I did not mean to suggest that you didn't know how to code. Just that like the barrier to entry for making manuals is actually fairly low, which is awesome. Is people put in a lot of work to make that the case. What rando? A chunk rando. So like you know how procedural generation uses chunks. So like not have to generate the entire world all at once. You can do a rando where the entrances for chunks are randomized. So when you exit one chunk, instead of going to the adjacent chunk, you're teleported to a random chunk. And it basically just randomizes the entrances on the chunks to other chunks. And it is deeply cursed. And Factorio has in Archipelago a chunk randomizing function. And I foolishly made it a stretch goal for the charity marathon I did a while back at this point. And Meta Knight, who loves Factorio content, was like $100 for long-winded suffering and Factorio content, and like dropped $100 on the spot for the charity. Yeah, that's not gonna work this game. No, I figured I was just meaning. Um, Question, Dwarf.
Yes.
How important is your relationship with God to you?
I mean, honestly, it depends.
Yeah.
Depends on my situation.
Right.
I did do so. I will say. Once I did start like doing backups as well. I did specifically make notes of things I wanted to try. So like at the beginning of my streams, where I was like, all right, when this inevitably goes wrong, I could just revert it. Or, like, if I want to see what happens when this happens, but I don't want to actually continue down that path, but, like, this is one of the only opportunities I have to check this right now. Like,
right.
Like, basically, I would sometimes start my streams by testing a couple of things that I made notes of, like, that I wanted to do once I could, like, once I had recently made a backup because I was doing the one-a-day backup thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do think it's pretty valid to say if you did just make a backup before that to be like, well, I can see what it does to have that knowledge, and then go from there.
Yes, good night for real, Nash. First of all. Yeah, okay. I will make peace with the gods if only to see what it does. You make peace with your gods. Okay, I made peace with them.
Feels good, doesn't it? Like just on the inside, you just feel peace.
Queen, we literally we made a backup like almost 3 hours ago, and then we started doing all the translating. The most recent backup in game is from like 15 minutes ago in game. I know you want me to make another backup.
I like the implication that this would need to overwrite the other one, although I think it's already been decided they don't overwrite. Oh, but what?
Yeah, no, I did decide to not be overwriting them because I was like, if this is like a system that I'm meant to be doing, in order to reasonably get through the second game in a reasonable period of time and it's ultimately expected, there's no reason to kind of limit myself more than chat has to tell me when I'm able to, right? Um. So yeah, I can make another backup if you would like. And it's just not a terribly useful one. Can I pocket the backup for whenever then? Yeah, sure. Yeah, that works.
Oh my god, the legendary pocket backup.
Pocket backup. Ow. That is very cursed rock indeed. Ow. Oh god. Oh, the cursed rock does so much damage.
It really do, though.
Why cursed rock so cursed? I think I'm just gonna drill down because, like, I do, like, want to reroll for a different perk ultimately. No, don't curse all the rock around you. That's so rude. I need to step on the ground around here. Stop it! Stop!
Okay, but whose fault was
That's so
that?
rude. I ain't for existing. Ooh, that's a lot of magic cards. I like that. Anyways. This is a lot of gold. Hey.
The mourning stuff has been mourned. Excellent, I think. I have, like, really fucked up the sound engine a little bit.
Unsure.
Oh no, stop shooting me.
I love that with, like, the knockback on this is just so that I can slow fall if I shoot downward while I shoot it. Like, it's just right to just, like, slow my descent.
That's very good.
It is. Okay, the portal. Wait, hold on. Is it easy to come back from this portal? I don't actually know.
This is a real question?
I mean, I have backup. It doesn't matter what the answer is. So I'm gonna go through anyways.
That's true. Yeah, backup. Got backup.
But I am gonna piss off the guys on purpose here. Swapper. Cool. See, I'm the one to fuck that in specific. Yes. Okay, so yeah, I'm not getting Steve spawning. Gold to power. Okay, I do really want to know what this is.
See if I wanted to
I
fuck
will
that
spend
thing in
almost all
specific.
my gold on it.
Yeah, we got a wand that would hurt a little bit if it hit your face, I think.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
Yes.
This spell, combined with what I know based on what I have seen on your death screen, poses some questions.
Interesting questions.
Yeah.
So then I started
Yes, there
blasting.
is. So anyways, I started blasting. Oh, piercing shot. Oh wait, hold on. Actually, I can make if I had enough gold here, I could actually make a really killer set. But
Ender, so I know that the streamer and moderators can see where each message came from. I think that as the user, if you're not one of those things, I don't think it indicates it, but I could be wrong. I can't remember, on all honesty, but I know for the streamers and the moderators that it does show.
hi, are you a wait? Red lion? Wait. What?
What do you got?
Red lion?
Oh yeah, the red lion.
It was called the salt last time.
That
Depends.
don't you mean the red lion?
Okay, so you're not a god. That's worth noting. Oh, also, I'm noticing that my wand that is substantially better than the first time I killed you doesn't. Oh wait, no, okay.
I'm paused for 1 second because I'm watching Eddie.
I think this is hold on. This is a bit different from my previous experience.
That
can't be right now. This is exactly the same.
And there might be two factors there. One factor, sometimes my sound balancing for Discord is a little off. Two, with the with Eddie's voice, sometimes like when you're new to hearing it, sometimes it can be like hard to process, but it like picks up very quickly. In my own experience, anyway. But there's also captions on its stream.
Yes, it's true. I love that we're doing this in bullet time. It definitely makes it way easier to dodge the bullet hell.
It's
like
true.
It's actually very considerate of it. Like, oh man, like just like look, it's just like this is so kind. Like it makes it so easy to make. Oh wow. Oh, you know, I just realized I didn't actually heal before this. I forgot to do that. That's probably fine.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Nice.
Neat.
How rude would it be to die to like a projectile that's coming right at the end there?
Oh wait, what am I thinking? It's fine. Time to go digging.
God, I forgot you had the freeze, and I was like, no, why? Why would you do this?
Hey, please!
My heart fluttered for a moment. I was so worried.
I did too, and I remembered. I was like, oh wait, no, it's fine.
Ender, thank you for reminding me to hydrate. We are having some delightful, I think you were gone when I mentioned it last. We're having some delightful key lime pie water right now. All of the delightfulness of pie with all of the smoothness of water.
Oh, thank you for the link. By the way, I regrettably as a result of the rule, we did manage to kill Bill at a time, but yeah, we
Key lime pie water is so good. Listen, if I could get... It would have to be Safeway. I usually get them from Safeway. If I could get Safeway to somehow sponsor me... advertising their weird as fuck creamy waters that I love so much. I would do it. I would sell out to shill for creamy water.
So it's a big cream.
Yeah, this is welcome to Dwarf Stream, where we support Big Cream, and that would just be a normal thing. In
Makes me think of this political commentator that I used to watch back in the day. I don't anymore. It's been a very long time. But he would always drink seltzer water on set. And so there started to be a running joke that he was sponsored by Big Seltzer. He was a Big Seltzer show.
That's very good.
Yes. And he always recorded from behind a desk. There's also a joke they get once, but it's largely unrelated, though often came up in the same context for some reason. Sorry, you won't allow me to create quotes that way? Now it looks like 27.
Safeway is owned by Cerberus. I mean, I'm gonna be honest here. I assume any large chain is probably evil. Like,
Yeah.
we've hit a point where if you're like a national chain, you're probably evil. There's just ones that get exposed.
You're not evil. You're owned by like a conglomerate that is definitely evil.
Yeah, that's my point. Like there could be ones that are owned. Like you're saying, oh, okay, the parent company of this. But if the parent company is controlling the minor company, then you're by proxy evil. And like the biggest thing we have is people like, oh, well, I've never heard anything bad about this company. Okay, so they haven't been revealed. That doesn't mean like just because we haven't heard something yet does not mean like you don't get to that level at this point.
It's not what company is good, it's what company is less evil.
I mean, and you just have to just assume, like, at this point, I assume they're evil. Like, they've done... It's just whether or not something has, like, been publicized.
Yeah, and I think that the operative thing that you're identifying is definitely, like, basically, like, if they're a chain of any kind, basically.
Yeah.
Right. It's like if they have a national presence or broader, or even if they have like a regional presence usually, like that's like the threshold of beyond which it's all but guaranteed. And because of how like capitalism works, that's just the vast majority of companies, right? So it like the shorthand for like all companies are evil is like it's just statistically accurate, right? If not absolutely accurate, because like mom and pop shop type,
Like that's gonna be the whole thing. Is that I can believe, like, and that's the thing. I mean, you bring up mom and pop shop. There's a lot of people that do not understand that like. Your local random shops are not some evil people. They're like...
That's right.
Like, that's the thing that got me a couple years ago, like, during, last big set of riots, is, like, the... Like, yeah, like, absolutely, I 100% support. You wanna go burn down Walmart, that's great. Love that. But, like, hold on, the like, person that lives in your same neighborhood that's running the little shop, like, that's... They're probably also trying to go burn down a Walmart. Like they're on the same side.
Right.
But like I mean, like feel like a statewide chain or something. That's not like a major chain. They're probably still not terrible. Like it's
they're probably like still far enough away from the threshold that they're like relatively benign, all things considered.
Yeah.
Oh, but Queen, what I wanted to say was, because that was like Torny quoting Dwarf, right? I added the functionality that you could actually type quote and then you at someone's username. It's specifically for instances like this when I'm like co-streaming with someone. Um, you quote and then at the name and then you just put it in quotes normally. And it'll credit it to that person. And so technically you can make up a quote that of anything and attribute it to anyone. But that's why only VIPs mods can do it, because I trust them to not like do that, basically. But welcome back to Adam's by the way, everyone. I can't immediately, but I will. I can. Especially if like the next quote is attributed to Dwarf, I will remember. Not like
Okay, we need to remember to go post in the upgrades channel. Add a delete quote command.
it's true. It's true. There should be one.
That is why I was asking earlier, because I remembered in the past you mentioning that the only way to delete them was to go manually do it, and I was like,
do like a query inside the database and say,
I was like, that's annoying. Like, it's not that it's difficult; it's just annoying.
It's annoying and like also bordering on like dangerous, because like, you know, I'm like a specific syntax error away from like, you know, deleting things that I do not mean to. Why does it suddenly think I'm using the controller? Like, okay, that was weird.
So Ender, the quote bot that comes from Eddie's chat is created by Eddie, and it's going to eventually, in some way, shape, or form, have it public, and that's going to be the greatest.
Volcanic Lake.
Ooh.
Oh. That's new.
Currently, the bot is just a private bot. I don't know. I assume the plans are to when it's one day open source, that like you could self-host kind of thing.
Yes.
But yeah, whenever that happens,
similar like streamer bot.
Whenever that happens, I will 100% be adding it to my stream. Eddie's is very cool. Eddie's it like you can like respond. I mean, I think you saw. I think Torny got quoted. You can reply to someone's message with a quote in order to quote them in it. It's very good. It also lets you quote with keywords. Like you can add keys to quotes, so that then you can pull up a quote. Like any quotes that have been keyed to a specific word will come up when you do that. It's just a very good system.
Oh man, if only that had been. Actually, no, I guess it will be. Is we delete one and it'll move down one. Yeah, it'll be 690. So 69.0. Is that why you did a different quote before recording it, Queen? Because if so, like, Galaxy Brain Play.
Yes.
Yes, incredible.
Also, Potato, I just realized I don't think I actually out loud said hi. I sometimes do this when I start getting tired. I think something, and I'm like, yes, I've said the thing. I was like, oh, hi, Potato. But then I realized I don't think I verbalized that whatsoever. But hello, I hope you're doing well.
I just realized what is making this so much worse. Maybe not, actually. I think I was wrong. Alright.
I mean, you technically could, like, just make it just the Loomies, too, right?
Yeah, that is true, I think. Oh, also, I think I was still fucking around with it, and this is like a suboptimal version, actually. Right? Because I was supposed to do like Yeah, we'll do like just the balloonies. Yeah, there we go. Honestly, having more of a spread would probably be good. Wait, hold on fire. Well, that's not. This isn't what we agreed to. I'm stuck in like a tiny chunk of rock, so I can't move, and so I just keep like I can't delete all of this lava. I will be here for actually ever.
The wiggling will eventually for you if you're actually stuck in a pixel.
Yeah, I was.
Ender for first thing, yeah, it should all move up. But like, yeah, quotes if they need to be deleted, presumably just get deleted pretty quick because if a bad quote gets in there, I doubt it sticks.
Yeah.
And then for second thing, because that's how I can't remember if you ever ended up adding emotes from emote extensions. I know we talked about it once on your stream, but I don't remember off the top of my head if you ended up doing much. But yeah, that would be a 7TV emote to do that, and it's because it's funny. Because that emote is such a good that emote
Classic.
has such a good like visual representation of just somebody going classic.
Yep, yeah, like a message that is just the word classic is like perfectly encapsulated by that emote.
I would say few emotes can like do what emotes are supposed to like the whole idea of emoji is supposed to be to like convey things like almost like across language barriers and stuff. And that emote is one of the top ones. Like it's just so good. Like you can see that and you just know. You're like, ah yes, classic.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the reason that everyone has emojis is because like when Unicode was getting like standardized, Japan was like, hey, so we like already do all these icons and symbols and stuff, and so like we just had spare space when we were doing our encoding, and we used it for funny faces and stuff and like pictures of other things. Is there like, can we put that in the Unicode?
Yeah.
And they were like, sure, yeah, no, like, why not? Like, totally. And then, like, it ended up being a thing that, like, everyone was like, this is excellent. Why have we not had this before?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, part of it was also, like, essentially a cell phone company in Japan that did it.
Yes.
They were just like, yeah, this will be fun for people with our phones. And
yeah. This is, we need a better way. We need a better way.
Okay, so, what do you...
Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. I just need an actual digging mold in here.
Love ASCII art. ASCII art, pretty good. Egypt did emojis first. I mean, like, glyphs.
They did, yeah.
Which,
like,
technically, I don't think they were first for glyphs, either, but... I guess it depends on what we're defining as glyphs. But now we get into what do you define as an emoji. Because I think emoji themselves would need to be, like, in a digital system, right? No.
True. Alright, I need to actually catch up on chat. I've been missing a whole bunch of them. Ibuprofen has helped significantly. Excellent. That's very good. With leaving a quote shift all of the quotes up number. Yes. Imagine if you know for people using classic quotes and then it randomly changes number, although if a quote has been around for a while, it's probably gonna stick. Yeah. Typically, quotes do not get deleted very frequently. It tends to be like when someone has, like, misquoted me, and I will usually try to just correct the quote, like, to what I actually said. Or, you know, like, This is also the work, is it?
Oh,
As above, so below. Right? As above, so below. That one, just never stop fitting. Evidently.
I'm sure that's just a coincidence.
No, yeah, you're probably right. I'm probably reading it.
Maybe some weird loading.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm sure it'll update to the correct name of that. This is Meteor Simulator? Oh. Typically, emotes show up in Twitch chat itself as an emote, otherwise it's plain text. Yeah. Alright, I just got back, meetings allergic to but what the heck is going on? That's a great question, Spock. Gaming. No, we're exploring. And I'm being very cavalier with my exploration because I'm planning on rolling back the previous backup because I took a perk that I wasn't really interested in taking just to see like what it did. And I didn't really get a super good answer, unfortunately. So we're going a little bit of exploring before we roll back. Love Asciar as well. Asciar is very good. Frozen Presence, or whatever it's called. What was making walls from inside the lava? Oh, yes. Yeah, that's, freeze fields. We freeze all liquid close to us.
Okay, I am going to wrap up.
And it turns out
We're gonna go over Raid Eddie. I have gotta go get ready for bed. I also just learned that apparently it's bad clock night, so I really gotta get in bed. Yeah, I'm gonna feel dead tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. Take care.
Oh, also you deal a lot of damage. How about that? Oh, that's money. That's so much money. Wait, hold on. I don't like that money, please. Don't disappear. Money, no money, please. You don't understand, and I want you very badly. No, wait, hold on, hold on. What's happening? Who do you think you are?
Oh my god, we're here.
We're here. Hello.